It's a doodle with too much time in its hands. Doodlemite here with another video. We made a Phase 1 tier list on, MCU in its first phase. And now I decided to continue that and do a video of Phase 2 of my tier list for it. Funny thing is they were originally supposed to be a one video that was supposed to be Phase 1 and 2, but the problem is that I kind of realized how long it was going to be from editing and then doing all that stuff. It got exhausting. So I just broke that down in half, and now you get second phase of the MCU tier list wise. So let me skip all my gibbering and get into the tier list of Phase 2. On to Phase 2. Now what about Iron Man 3? Iron Man 3 is one of those movies where they start the universe and I'm like, okay, it's a movie that exists. It felt off for him. I get kind of what they were going for. Another suit kind of got annoying. And changing the plot, character-wise, I'm like, Mandarin's cool. But the fact that they changed it to someone else and then made it just another suit guy who uses the extremist thing to make, hot powers, basically. And I was like, Iron Man's suit, I did not. I know people like that suit, but I'm like, I don't. It was way too much gold, too much yellow on there, and I was like, ew. The suit up was beautiful. No, and the relationship between Pepper and Stark were always great. Random kid they introduced, I'm like, you never did anything after, and I'm like, are you gonna be Iron Man, Iron Boy Jr. or something like that? Nope. He was with in the end of the game when Tony died. And I'm like, wait, that's you? I mean, he aged. That's how much he aged so much after that. He's not gonna be there for that long. So with this movie, I have to put it at a C tier. Not my greatest film I watched. Not my favorite. Just kind of a movie that existed there. Now, is the list going well? Now, what do I do with Dark World? You go all the way over here. If I had an F tier, you would go to F, but you're at a D. You're at a D. Now, the reason why I put this in D tier is because, one, there's no F tier, but the reason is this movie made me fall asleep every time I watch it. The gray, the just darkness of the movie. I get it, it's the Dark World, but why do you have to be literally dark? I don't understand it. It was like, I don't get it. It happened and I'm like, no. So I put this in D tier because there's no F tier, and I don't want to keep talking about this movie. So let's go. Bad movie. Now we have Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Now what do I think about this movie? Well, it is a beautiful, beautiful movie. I think it's great. And I love that it's a spy genre type film. People say that superheroes is its own genre. I don't believe that. I think that superheroes can be put in any other genre. This is a spy thriller espionage. A spy espionage film with superhero in it. With Captain America, the embodiment of the American dream. Or what it's supposed to be. And the fact that they turned him into basically just a soldier because they made him, have the gray, which is in reference to a suit he had in the comics. And as what it's supposed to be, like a stealth suit, I get it. It's cool. I love this. I love that part of it. But that's it. I don't like it as a suit itself. And you go to A tier, because beautiful movie. But not up to S tier. It's also not something that I tend to watch over and over, but I love as a movie. I will watch it, but not as much as Iron Man or the Avengers. But I will watch it more times. I love how they introduced Bucky in this movie, and I like how I forgot to mention this when I was talking about, Captain America. They just made Bucky his actual name instead of being his serial identity, which that was in the comics. But they made that Bucky Barnes was his actual identity, and they just made him the Winter Soldier, and the way they did it was cool. I was like, oh my god, I feel so sad for you. I felt so sorry for Bucky. I'm like, why? Why'd you do that to him? And it was just sad, of course. And I know people say they love the suit. I'm not a huge fan of it as a suit for Captain America, but as what they're trying to do is concept-wise, it is beautiful for it. And I love how Natasha was in it too. Does anyone ever feel like they were supposed to be end up together, but they wanted to change the dynamic on that, like what they did with Iron Man and Pepper, and then the original comics? Because it feels that way in this movie. I get it, he shows that she's trying to set him up on a date, but the way they did it is they will end up together and they never do, which is really weird to me. But hey, that's just me. That's Captain America for me. It's an A tier for me. For me, specifically. So if you like this movie higher than that, if you think it's the best movie, MCU movie in existence, that's okay. That's for you. Guardians of the Galaxy, A tier. I love it. James Gunn, you're an amazing genius, but not something that I would over. Like, it's not something I've rewatched and I was like, oh my god, best movie ever. No. It's not one of those, at least for me. For me, it's like a close. That's what the A's are for. They're very close, but not there yet. Great movie. I will rewatch this movie over and over again. But isn't A tier actually? I feel like it's more like a B. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I know it's supposed to be blasphemy putting in a B tier, but I tend to watch it more with the Hulk. I love the Hulk, that's the thing. These are the ranking of my thing. So again, if you don't like my ranking, do your own. It'd be good for you. This is just how I see it. So, there you go with that. I love the movie. I love the premise, how it's found family. Having Groot, Gamora, Drax, Rocket, and Star-Lord was a good thing, because they were nobodies originally before the movie even aired. I didn't know who they were at all. I saw like a comic of the Guardians of the Galaxy before, but I didn't know them. And they wasn't even the same characters until the MCU did that, and it was like beautiful. Love this movie. But now we have to get into the Age of Ultron. It's a movie. It's a movie that exists. I don't hate it, and I don't love it, but it's not an F, not in a D tier for me. So I'd have to put it in a C tier, because it's something that existed. I can watch it, but it's not something I will watch that much. Maybe it's a movie that I'll watch if I'm bored. That's what C tier is for. Movies I'll watch if I'm bored, mostly. And I've already exhausted myself with the other ones. So I put it there. The story was weird. The fact that they made Ultron humorous was really wrong to me, because he's supposed to be very scary, that he doesn't have any emotion or anything like that. And the fact that he does kind of contradicts that. And the fact that he has too much face, if that makes sense, is weird to me. That the fact that he looks more human, I find that weird. The whole puppet, Pinocchio type thing they have with him is a good touch. But it was only the beginning, and I wish they should have made him look more like how he does in the comics, because that would have been cooler for me. But that's just me. But I put this in C tier because it's, again, just something I watch if I'm bored. But that's what I choose there. Now we go to Ant-Man. We go to the Ant-Man himself. Well, Ant-Man.
Ants. Ant-Man.
Great movie. I have to put you to S tier. Reason why is because I will rewatch this movie over and over and over again. It is just good. It is something refreshing, at least from the time of after, the movies. It's because it's a heist movie. It's an Ant-Man movie. They were able to make Ant-Man serious, kind of, but also keep him comedic. Not making him a complete joke, but not making him a complete serious person. Because this is the second Ant-Man. This is Scott Lang, more humorous, more jokey, even though he was a convict. And that's the thing I like about it. He's an ex-convict, basically a nobody, that was given powers that most people would write off as a joke. But these powers are beautiful, cool, because they were able to show, hey, if you were actually able to change that size and actually regain your super strength, you would be a menace. You'd be like the Hulk, but tiny. That's it. Because you regain all your strength, but it shrinks down, so you become more mass and much stronger. And so that means you jump faster, you jump higher. And you have to be very careful by the way they show that. They show Hank Pym, and they show that he's like a broken man. I like how this is how I do think that Ant-Man would be like as an old man. So that's how I see it. And making a character like Hope was cool. I know why they did it. It's because they wanted Ant-Man and the Wasp and Ant-Man to have a love interest. Because I think in the comics, I don't think Scott has ever really had a love interest that I know of. Maybe it's just because I don't really read a lot of Ant-Man. But having him here, the suit was cool. I love how it's more motorcycle-y and how it looks like it's from the old days, while also giving it practicality features to it. Like the fact that, because when in the comics, it was just the fact that he could mentally shrink and grow. And I'm like, no, you need the buttons to do that. And I'm like, because it's still something you don't think about, but he presses it and that shrinks it. And the visuals were always cool. I know it's a weird thing since, not everyone loves this movie, but I love it, and I get that the original director was left in the middle of it, and they changed it. Maybe that's why maybe I like that. Maybe when it just became the Avengers stuff, that's where I was like, eh. But I love this movie so much because of this Ant-Man thing. And that's my tier list for the MCU of Phase 2. Hey, if you're still here by the end, I just want to say thank you for watching until the end. If you want to see me make more tier lists than just these two, please comment and like the video. If you aren't subscribed, please subscribe so you can get more of these videos and we can make an army. But if you want to see the first video, it's over here. So if you want to see the first one, here it is. And I hope to see everyone in the next video.